What's going on, guys? Today I'm flying with the F2H-2 Banshee, Tier 5 jet for the Americans, with a battle rating of 6.7. This is one of the new 1.45 patch editions, and it's already become, in a fairly short order, a bit of a pariah. This plane has caused a number of people to actually quit playing War Thunder. So let's talk about this plane. When this plane was introduced on the dev server, I was very honest and said that a 6.7 battle rating for this aircraft seemed a little low. And that was just based on a test flight that I took. It wasn't based on any kind of air combat against actual people, because at that time the dev server was really only being used for test flights and some tank battles. No one was actually using it in realistic battles, so I couldn't test fly it against actual people. Any and all attempts that I made to get into a realistic battle on the dev server resulted in two teams that were completely made of AI, other than myself, of course. And shooting down an AI is just not much of a challenge, really, in any plane, and certainly not a jet. So fast forward to a week or two in between the initial dev server going up and the time in which the 1.45 patch went on the live server, and the plane was still 6.7 for a battle rating, and I was completely surprised because no one, to my knowledge, looked at this plane on the dev server and said, yeah, 6.7, that seems right. No, it needs to be at least a 7.0, minimum of 7.0. I would argue probably a 7.3 would be the ideal battle rating for this plane, keeping in mind that this is all coming from a self-confessed jet noob. I am not someone who has, hundreds of hours flying jets. There are a lot of people who fly Panthers and MiGs and Sabres and what have you every time they launch War Thunder, and I don't. My preference is propeller-driven aircraft. It's not that I hate jets. It's just props are my preference. That's all. Now, as far as the battle rating controversy goes, I don't really think that this is as controversial of a battle rating as some of the other planes that have been introduced in War Thunder. It seems like every patch that comes out that includes planes includes at least one plane that has a battle rating that is way too low or way too high. I don't know why, but Gaijin doesn't seem to be able to get the battle ratings correct through their testing on the dev server. I'm not really sure why that is. The battle rating system for jets, really in general, is pretty much foobar in my opinion. So I'm not really sure why people are quitting specifically over this plane. Yes, the Banshee is undertiered, but you could say that about half a dozen other jets in the game. And then there are all those who are over-tiered, like pretty much the entire German line of jets. I don't know what's going on with Germany's jets. Their battle ratings are completely out of whack. And that brings me into this game. It's America versus Germany. This is one of the few games that I recorded where there was actually something to show. A lot of the games that I got into, we either got raffle stomped because of poor teamwork, or the gameplay just didn't have anything to show. There have been a lot of games where I only got like one kill or no kills because I had actually very good teammates. It's been very much of a mixed bag for me. Just so everyone knows, this plane is upgraded with everything except for the pilot G suits and any kind of bombs. I dive on this 262, put a couple of bursts into him. Unfortunately, he doesn't go down. I'm hoping he'll eventually just give up. But looks like he's hanging on there. So I'll turn around and go after him, finish him off. I haven't managed to break my wings in this plane yet. I've heard it's impossible to do it in the Panther from turning. And since this is basically another Panther, I'm assuming this is probably impossible to break the wings here from turning, but I could be wrong. We'll see. And that guy eventually just bailed out. Now, in case you're curious about the performance of the aircraft, you don't start to redline until about 950 kilometers an hour once you get the upgrades. It starts to shake, and that makes long-range shots kind of difficult because because of the shaking. You can see my plane starts shaking here. Line up this 162. Goes into a little turn. And I'm right there. Critical his left wing. And I climb away. He goes down. Just here, my second kill of the game. This poor guy's got problems of his own. There's still a 262 above me. There's an Arado over there to my left. The Arado is another one of those planes that has a bad BR. It's actually got a 6.7 battle rating. I'm not really sure why. The Arado at 6.7 is pretty much a joke. It's got a mediocre payload. It doesn't have any front guns. It doesn't have any back guns. Why it's at 6.7, I'm not entirely sure. Drop it by... I think if you were to drop it by an entire battle rating of 1 and put it at like 5.7, I think you'd probably be closer to where it should be. You don't want to drop the battle rating so low in the case of the Arado that the enemy planes can't catch up to it. I mean, that's one of the problems that something like the B-57 has, where the B-57 has very few airplanes that are able to catch up to it. So if you go too low, you're going to have issues. And then you'll have people complaining about the Arado's battle rating all over again. But doing nothing about the battle ratings isn't really the answer. Gaijin has to do something. This 262 goes into a dive to escape me, but he can't escape those 20s. I crit his elevator and light him on fire. Unfortunately, the fire is out. The Banshee is completely the opposite. Once you get lit on fire, the fire does not go out in this thing. And it's not just me. I've seen other people comment on this in chat. How they'll say that as soon as they get lit on fire, they try the obvious things. Go into a dive, cut the engine, cut the throttle, and hope that the fire goes out. But it just doesn't. You just can't get the fire to extinguish itself. It's a fairly common thing among other American jets, like the P-80 and the F-80C Shooting Star. They all seem to have that similar characteristic where if they get lit on fire... Ah, damn it. I'll take the kill assist. That's better than nothing. I would have preferred to get the kill, but, that's the way it goes. Yeah, to get back on topic, the other American jets have the same issue where fires just don't want to go out. I want to come over here and take out some AAA before the game ends, but it looks like they don't have any AAA in this base. Well, that's the end of this game. Well, that being said, what do you guys think of this plane? What do you think the battle rating for this plane should be? Like I said either 7.0 or 7.3 would be the ideal battle rating, somewhere in there. I wouldn't put it any higher, because then you're saying it's as good as the Panther. I'm not really sure that it's as good as the Panther. It's good, don't get me wrong, it's very good, but it's not quite a Panther. And I certainly don't see that the battle rating of 6.7 is worth quitting the game over. I mean, my gosh. I really think that for those who are quitting and they're using the Banshee as being the reason for their quitting, I think they're basically quitting because of a combination of factors. Whether it be flight models or damage models or battle ratings or the way matchmaking is going with planes, or even with tanks, because tanks are having issues big time in realistic battles and sim, from what I've heard. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of this. We touched on a wide variety of topics. Leave a comment in the section below. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Take care, guys.